Hope everybody's doing well today. Today, we are back for another live for our Women in Wellness pre event special. And today, we are here with Towanda. What's up, Towanda?
What's up, Ayana?
How you doing today?
Listen, I am doing good. Listen, girl, I put my face together and I put my good hair on for you, girl. Okay? Listen.
It don't get no better than that. So thank you. We appreciate that. I mean, even though all the time everything's always looking good. So thank you again for being here with us today. Super excited to have this conversation with you and just kind of learn more about who you are and hear about your excitement for the summit. So we just gonna dive right in. So first and foremost, I just want to know, who is Tawanda?
Mm, girl, I'm still figuring that one out, but and let's just put it in the context in the business world, right?
Yeah.
So I help women heal from their past, move into their present, and prepare for their future. So what does that mean, right? So I do workshops, I do trainings, I do events, anything that's going to be able to help women step into the full essence of who they are, moving all the baggage and everything that they have in their life that has kept them from moving and stepping into who God has called them to. I help them with that. I create what I call experiences. So when someone comes to one of my workshops or one of my events, it's not just a workshop or an event. It's an actual experience where you get an opportunity to see you in the mirror, and then we do some work.
Nice, nice. That's so powerful. And I think about when I think about overall, like everything that you said, and then the Women in Wellness Summit, it's really about empowerment. And I think that when I think about like who am I going to call be on this panel for the Women in Wellness Summit, I'm thinking of you because you really embody empowerment, and all that you do embodies empowerment and centering women. So really want to thank you for that, and thank you for sharing that. So you talked about the workshops and things that you do. So I wanted to go a little bit deeper in talking about your area of expertise, your particular area of expertise,
Mhm.
and second to that, kind of what will you be discussing at the summit as well too?
Okay. If I had to think about what my area of expertise is, it's still centered on healing and transformation.
Hmm.
I work with the whole woman, and
Okay.
so I also do a lot of things with women in business. And so I am also an instructor for an organization called Rising Tide Capital, where I work with women in business. And I love being able to work with the business side of it and marry it with the personal side of it, because the people who are running the business are just that. We are people. And
Hmm.
so our wellness is really, really important. So a lot of times while I'm teaching, what I do is I infuse the human side of it, the holistic side, the wellness side in it, because guess what? If you're not good, you're not going to be able to run your business good.
Hmm.
So those go together. And so, even with coming up with when I'm doing the summit with you, like I think that's very important. One of the sessions that I'm going to be doing at your summit is saying yes to your wellness, right? And success. You can't have both.
Hmm.
So
Can you
within
say that again real quick? Please, please.
saying yes to your wellness and success. You
Mm.
can have both, and during the breakout session, we're going to talk about those things, and I have some exercises, some different things that we're going to be able to do, because one, you have to define what success looks like for you.
Hmm.
So what success looks like for me and what success looks like for you is two different things.
Yeah.
And so you ultimately have to be able to decide what that looks like. So then you get to do the gauge, because we get it real twisted when we're watching what somebody else's success looks like. And then we try to mirror that, or we try to match that. Don't try to mirror that. Don't try to match that. Define it for yourself.
Okay, all I gotta say is, come on, Tawanda. Come on. But oh my goodness. I mean, I feel like I don't even have much of a follow up after that, because you just kind of like spoke to everything. And I mean, something that we're going to be focusing on at the summit is we focus on holistic wellness, right? Bringing
Mhm.
that all together. And what you said about looking at the whole woman and looking at how we can focus on our wellness, right? And then also focus on that area of success and defining really defining what success means to us. So I really love all of that. So thank you so much for that. So next, wanting to talk about the theme of the summit, which is intentional living. So
Mhm.
wanting to know, what does intentional living mean to you?
When we think about the word intentional, it's really on purpose. Like when you do something intentionally, it's on purpose.
Mhm.
And when I think about that, because you asked me when you sent something to me and I saw the word intentional, I was like, I said yes. I was just talking about intentional because my word for last year actually was impact. Right. So
Mhm.
every year, we give ourselves a word and we give ourselves this whole thing that we go through. And I do I write my goals and I go through that whole process and I say, what do I want to accomplish this year? And then I always think about what's the impact that I want to have. And
Mhm.
so I started a lot of things last year and I've made some strides in a lot of things in terms of impact, right? And so when this year came in, I knew that I was not finished with the word impact, but then I added intentional on top of that.
Mhm.
So I don't have just one word this year. So I have two words. So it's intentional impact. It's meaning that I am going to be impactful on purpose. So when I think about being intentional, it's like you're doing something and you meant to do that. Like I meant to do that. So it's like when you mean to do something, you put forth a different effort for it. So when I think about
Mhm.
intention, it's like, okay, what are your intentions? Like, what's the meaning behind that? So being able to be clear about that.
Nice, nice. I love that. And I think you kind of already touched on it, but I don't know if there's any more that you want to share on that. So I know connecting your word from last year, impact, to
Mhm.
now intentional, right? Or intention. Um,
Mhm.
how does it specifically like resonate with you in maybe some of the things that you want to accomplish this year? Essentially, like taking it a little bit deeper if you want to, or step further.
Okay. Um, when I think about the intention, and I'll give you, what, I'll give you a perfect example in how I even thought about the intentional impact.
Mhm.
So I own the empowerment studio in Newark, right? So it's a safe space for women. We have workshops, trainings, events, all of those different things. But I think about the original intent of the studio. When I first decided to open up the studio, honestly, I just wanted a classroom. I wanted to create my own classroom where I teach my classes because I got tired of going to the hotels and transforming them and making them look a certain way. Because
Yeah.
nowadays everything needs to be aesthetically pleasing,
Yep.
and it has to be visual. We need
Mhm.
everything to be Instagrammable,
Yep.
okay? And so I was just like, I'm so sick of just transforming these spaces. And so I
Mhm.
said, what if I get my own space and I create it the way that I want it to be? And I teach my classes because I'm big on empowerment, and not just empower. When I say empowerment, and it's so interesting because sometimes we say it so much that sometimes we almost water it down, and then
Mhm.
everything becomes, women's empowerment and empowerment this. And that's where the intentionality came in. That's when the intentional impact, because it's like, what was the original intent of this? And the original intent was to be able to really, really empower women, allow them to be able to have a safe space to grow, for it to be a space of personal and professional development. So when you think women, when you think wellness, when you think workshops, when you think all of those different things that are going to be able to speak into the life of a woman, I want you to think, oh, there's a session, there's something that you can take at the Empowerment Studio. And the intention behind that also is for it to move past me, because initially I wanted it for me. Now, it can't just be for me.
Mhm.
So I opened it up to other women because, first of all, one, I'm not having a class every single day. So, how can I empower women to be able to use their gifts, their talents, and their abilities? So, I have so many women that come and they have workshops and they have trainings and they have events and they have, brunches and they have all of these different things. And when I tell you, when you walk into the space, it's such a beautiful space. It really,
Mhm.
really is. Not just because it's my space, but it's honestly, and it's the sentiments that I get from everyone that comes to the space. And when you're in the space, and even when you leave the space, there's something special that is there. And I believe it's because of the intention and the design of the particular space.
Thank you. That was powerful. I'm just sitting in my head like this is just the pre-event special and you talking like this. So, I mean, I could just only imagine, when you are on that women and wellness stage. And I can also just attest to how powerful and amazing the space is. I've been there for a couple of different events, and it's really an amazing space. And I can also feel the good energy, but also see the intention that you put into that space. So I thank you for sharing that of how it all comes together for you, and I just look forward to just following your journey, and you're really someone who inspires me. So really really excited for all this yet to come for you.
Thank
So
you.
yes, absolutely. So wanting to ask now, like, what sparked your interest? I mean, we kind of heard about it essentially, how it really resonates with you and aligns with you and what you do.
Mhm.
But what sparked your interest in joining the Women and Wellness Summit?
You, honestly. Uh, I saw what you did last year, and I think I even reached out to you last year, and I sponsored a couple of people to come.
Yes, thank you.
And I think I had something, and I wasn't able to make it. But one of the things that inspired me about it is like I watch and I pay attention to people who are genuine, and I not to say that I know all and can see
Yeah,
all and all those things, different things, but I pay attention to how people move, right? I have a gift of discernment, right? So I'm able to see people. And I was able to see you and I see you, I'm gonna call it hustle, but not really hustle because that's just how you live. I
yeah,
see you out in the streets. I see you out in the community. I see you, you put up your tables and you're asking people, how are you today? How's your wellness?
yeah.
You have your setting and it's from a genuine place and I'm like, okay, she really is about what she says. It's not about hype. It's not about any of those different things. I see you at the community events, all of those different things. And I wanted to be able to support you in any way that I could support you. And so that's honestly why when you put the call out, I'm like, yeah, I want to help. I want to be a part of this, and it aligns. And that's the other piece. Whenever I go somewhere or whatever I do something, it needs to be in alignment with who I am, what I stand for, and where I'm looking to go. And so, me and you, I felt like the work that you're doing, I felt like it was aligned together. So that's why I wanted to be a part of it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for those words. Sometimes we're going, and then we don't think that we see like we're making that impact or something sometimes, right? But it's good to hear those words from our fellow colleagues, entrepreneurs, and things of that sort. So I really appreciate that, and really grateful for you being a part of the summit again. So with that being said, I also just wanted to ask kind of like, what are you most excited about at the summit, and maybe like what impact do you want to make, and what do you want to leave the audience with?
I'm most excited when women come together, right? I get really excited when you get women coming together because not to say that not to say that men don't have this,
Yeah.
but there is something special when women come together.
Mhm.
There's this level of energy, and not only that, there's also something special when women come together and they are authentic.
Mm.
That part of it, that the authenticity, and they're able to be vulnerable. If you can create a space for women to be authentic and for them to be vulnerable, can I
Yeah.
tell you that is where healing and growth happens?
Mm.
It doesn't just happen just out of nowhere. You
Yeah.
set an environment for that. If you set that space for it, and then you put us together, and then when women start to share their stories, and then they start to share their sufferings, and then they start to share all of those things, there's something that happens in another woman
Mm.
because you get an opportunity to see that you are not alone. Because as a lot of times what happens is women suffer in silence
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they think that it's just them. But when someone else is vulnerable and they get to speak their truth, you'd be like, okay, so it's not just me.
Mm.
You went through that. But not only did she go through that, she overcame that. So there is hope for me.
Yeah.
And so when women walk away from these events, like you don't know how many events I go to, how many events I speak at, how many workshops I do, that by the time you get to the end of it, women are like, I'm so glad I came.
Yep.
Because you don't know what someone needs to hear, what someone needs to
Yeah.
feel. You don't know who you can meet, any of those things. That's why I love these types of events.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I mean, taking out the words authenticity, vulnerability, and hope. Like those, that's powerful. That's powerful. So thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
And as we're wrapping up, just wanting to ask, you shared about the empowerment studio, the workshops and programs that you put on in your space. So wanting to ask, what are some things that we can expect from you? Maybe if you have some projects coming up, also, how can we connect with you as well too?
Definitely. There's always something going on at the studio. I just recently completed, we're in the new year, right? So I put on this workshop called Vision 2024, and I actually wrote a new book that goes along with it.
Woo!
Yeah, and the book is called What's Written is Real. The best time to
Mm,
start is now. So
okay.
what it does is it takes your vision and it brings it to life. So it moves it past, because in the beginning of the year, and this is not knocking any vision board parties or any of those things, like, listen, I love it. Let's get together. Let's do it, right? But then after you do that, what's the strategy behind it? And so I put four pieces inside of the book, and it's pray, it's plan, it's prepare, and execute.
Mm,
So in the book, it takes you through that, and it tells you how to be able to bring your vision to life. And in the workshop, it's a workshop really about mindset. Because in order for you to be able to bring your vision to life, there is a new level. There's another person that you literally need to become, because where you are is a result of all the other things that has happened, where you've gone, where you've been, what you know up until this particular point. So if you want to get to the next level and you want to do some other things, now you're going to have to become a different person, a new thing. You're going to have to do some other things. And so we go through those. And I bring women up to the front, and we have like these hot seat moments, because we need to be able to dig into what's holding you back.
mm,
Right. And so I do those things with women, and I help pull things out of them, because it's never about what you see on the surface.
hmm.
Right. It's always deeper.
Yeah.
And so I'm the person that helps you go deeper. So if you tell me it's three, it ain't really three. Actually, it's 10, and I'm going to help you get to 10.
Hmm.
And I'm going to pull the other seven out of you.
All right now.
Yeah. I'll pull the other seven out of you.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so I do those things. So I'm actually, and that one was actually such a success. That sold out. So we're doing a new one. I'm going to do a new one. It's going to be on February the 17th.
Okay.
Uh, and then we have our annual Future is Female brunch, where we honor women in the community
Nice.
who are in business and who are making strides. Women who have gone through something, and resiliency, and just still pushing forward. There's hope, there's courage that need to be displayed, and we need to be able to see that. So we're honoring 8 women. So there's a lot that's going on. So people can find out what's going on at the Empowerment Studio if they are on if they're on Instagram. It's at the Empowerment Studio NJ. Our website is empowermentstudio.nj.com. And you can also find me at Towanda MC and on all platforms.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm excited about those upcoming events. Also, I just want to know, is that book going to be at the summit? Cause
Yes, it is.
okay,
Yes.
all right. 'Cause I'm gonna need to get me one, and I know some of the people that's listening will definitely be wanting to purchase one as well too. So
Yeah,
looking forward
definitely.
to that, and
Mhm.
looking forward to the upcoming events as well too. I gotta secure my spot as well too. Um,
Yes, you better go on there, because girl, we be listen, the seats will start to sell out, okay?
Yes, yes. So I'm gonna make sure I do that today, and you all make sure you guys do that as well too. I just want to say thank you to Wanda. It's been a pleasure. You've inspired me tonight even more on this live, and just kind of spoke so many words of wisdom, and even just some of the things that I needed to hear as well too. And I know you've done that for other people here that are listening now. So just want to thank you for that, and I just can't wait to hear your voice, your story, and just hear and see the wonderful things that you do at the summit as well too, and just throughout this year. So really appreciate you spending this time with me tonight on this live for our pre-event special, and looking forward to having you at the summit. Please, please, please get your tickets today. Ticket sales end on January 31st. You do not want to miss this event and amazing individuals like Towanda. So we hope to see you at the summit. Any last words, Towanda?
Well, I actually have last words for you that I
Okay.
wanted to I want to tell you as you were talking. It was just in my spirit because I wanted to just be able to let you know that one, I know that there's a lot of work that goes into this.
Yeah.
And so the work that you're doing is not in vain.
Hmm.
So even on days when it feels like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how things are going to be. Like I'm pushing, I'm doing this. Like, am I doing everything?
Yeah.
Don't worry about any of that. It's all going to work out. It's all going to be well. The women are going to come. They're going to be inspired. They're going to be encouraged. They're going to be empowered. And they are going to leave with another level of hope within them. And guess what? All at the hands because you put it together. So and I'm going to say this because I know it was for me, your sleepless nights, your tears,
Yeah.
all of those things are not in vain because I
Yeah.
want you to think about all of the women who are going to come who are going to get poured into. So
Yeah.
I want to thank you for putting this on and continuing to be able to do the work that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, all I got to say is that, that's something I definitely needed to hear. So I really, truly appreciate it. So thank you so much, Tawanda.
You're
So
welcome.
thank you all for tuning in. So please get your tickets, and we'll see you soon. See you soon, Tawanda.
Bye.
All
Thank
right. Take care,
you.
everyone. Thank you.